That's so sad.
Now Cole's people are gonna be like, "Hey guys,
Yeah.
not here."
Yeah. Set this back. Get this out of the wind.
Ow.
I would try this again, and hopefully we won't get thrown out of this
Parking lot empty.
obscure, empty parking lot with the moving trucks in it and restaurants and all that other garbage. Unbelievable, man. You know, as soon as I got there, I was like, $5 says he's gonna come by and ask us to leave for our safety.
I'm pretty safe, thank you.
It was for our safety.
You know?
Welcome back. Sorry we had to leave.
No, it's not a Target. It's not a Target.
It looks like a Target though. You know what?
Really?
Before we get through, so we got a package the other day. This
Yes.
is one of the things I was waiting for. And notice Fernando Lopez on front right there. So Fernando's been working with a manufacturer. No, I don't want to break your key.
No, I got this.
No,
one.
it'll just
this
come
is this is a really strong
that's cool.
key.
It's just look at that. I know, now we're
I thought
paranoid.
yeah, no kidding.
Outlaws, right? Jesus, you know, it's like you got to sneak around now. Oh, jeez. Anyways, so Fernando's been talking with a manufacturer lately about having us do some work for them.
Oh my God, man! Thank you, Matt. Matt, he just dropped $20.
Wow, thank you,
so
Matt.
much, man.
Oh, I almost forgot about that. Okay, so those are that. That's that. Okay, so
What are your thoughts on supercapacitors?
supercapacitors?
Yes.
I don't mind supercapacitors so much because they're usually like 20, 30, farad, and they actually do some use.
Okay.
It's the spray paint cans that are kind of useless. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, nothing's better than having a battery, but at least the bigger capacitors like that are nice. So we got a controller here, part number DSP remote AC2. Ooh, who could that be from?
Okay.
We got this one tells Nakamichi. This is the Bluetooth. Wow, this box looks strangely familiar, I'm not gonna lie. But here we go, we got Nakamichi. So Fernando's been talking with Nakamichi for the last couple months, and the first product that we got for us to take a look at is their new DSP line. Nakamichi's being reintroduced in the United States. Look at that.
It's
Ooh.
aluminum body?
It's aluminum body.
Nice.
I like that.
Wow, that
Output.
looks pretty cool.
Dude, it's 12 channels of output.
6 in,
Really?
12 out.
Yeah, here we go. No connection, high level 6 in, low level 6 in. They call inputs aux inputs, so that makes sense. It's got an optical, it's got a coax digital, ground, constant 12 volts, accessory remote out.
Yes.
Host or accessory. So I'm guessing it has some form of DC offset. The controller is right there.
Yeah.
Let's see what the controller looks like. So anyways, here we go. We're gonna do a full review on this, but I like that. It's Nakamichi right there. You have your 12 here. You have
The model
programmer.
number.
Oh, look at that. They use a regular size big printer.
I love that.
Dude,
I love that.
This on a DSP is the best.
Yes.
The little tiny micro USBs suck. I mean, that's what everyone uses, but they suck.
All right.
Looks like a massive D. Let's be honest. I mean, a case is a case.
It's pretty cool. All right. So the model number is the NDS 6120. It's the digital processor Nakamichi.
Yeah,
Nice.
so it's got a cool. But yeah, so they sent this to us. So full disclosure, this is going to be a review that we do. But you know us, we don't pull any punches. Anyways, I don't feel like boxing this back up.
No, that's cool. So they give you 2 honors panel.
Ooh, look at that.
One in yes. Yes, I was.
Have you played with the software?
I have.
It's on your phone.
I have the
Really?
the app. Yes.
Oh, okay. It's not an amp. Not an amp yet. This is just straight up DSP
This
right
is
now.
straight DSP. They have
they
have
amps and
amplifier
radios.
with DSP built into it. Yes.
We're playing. We're feeling each other out. Let's call it that way.
What's up, Anthony? Car Audio Live is here.
Hey guys, sexy shirts. I know, we didn't even call each other and we accidentally just matched. The reason why I'm wearing this shirt today, okay, it matches my shoes, okay? So I have orange and blue shoes, orange and blue shirt. I know.
Yeah, I'm matching my shoes, look. I got
This is what happens on a day off, good
and
God.
It matches my
I don't
my
have
socks.
socks on, man, I'm not a wussy. All right, $10, thank you from El Fuego.
El Fuego.
I got busted at the mall back
back in the early 90s by
Security guard who claimed he was broadcasting without a license. Keep up the great work.
Wow.
I know. And he actually said specifically
no videos.
No videos here at the mall.
He's like, sorry guys, you can be here, especially for broadcasting. I'm like, okay, just let me wrap it off. And,
I mean, you know, and he was sitting there waiting for us to leave.
Yes.
Like he just went out of frame and he was just sitting there waiting.
And right there, like if you guys see or if you catch the other video that we just post, it's like right there behind us.
Where's Fernando's matching hat? Didn't you get one of these?
I have one of these, yeah.
Oh, you kept it? I
no,
thought you gave it to somebody.
It's we give it to somebody. Remember the
did
guy
you give it to
that
Jeff?
he
No,
was
you gave it to somebody.
We gave it to somebody.
You have to pull this off my dead skull.
That's right. That was Jeff.
I was gonna say, didn't you give it to Jeff Smith?
Yeah,
Jeff
Jeff
Smith.
Smith. Yeah.
Hey, mall cop needs something to do. Must be bored as hell, man. No doubt, right? No doubt. So the funny thing was, is a cop had already driven by us and didn't bother to do anything. But how does it feel to break the law? Honestly, like this whole week, I felt like I've been breaking the law because I mean, I went into the retail store to do the laser work, and I had to get this mail and all this other stuff. So I mean, this past week, spent a couple hours there just doing stuff. Plus, they're doing some construction at my house right now, and I was like, I got to get someplace quiet. So it's like, yeah, I felt like it's like, dude,
it's funny because
the Gestapo is gonna come get me.
It's funny because we've been talking about like you have to sneak in
to
go to work.
Yeah,
it's like
it's ridiculous.
You have to go to work. You gotta sneak in.
William Berg, Big Base Bill Iceberg. Hey guys, you guys rock. Have fun. Thanks for all the content and videos. No problem.
Thank you, William, for $4.99. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Hello from Canada. Hope you guys are enjoying the break. No. Actually, it hasn't felt like. Today was the first day that actually felt like a break.
Yes.
Because I mean, honestly, I've been working just as hard, if not harder, I feel, this past week. Than I have any other time.
What's up, Bobby? Bobby is nuts.
It's not like it's
a
live stream from the jail cell, no doubt, right? God, man. You know, but that's the thing. I mean, it's like normally the other Dean would have just lost his freaking mind, but it's like, what are you gonna do?
I mean, they're in their place. All right, 2017 Chevy Silverado, non-Boss. I want to install a D6 1200. Will be able to keep the fade and balance from the head unit.
No,
it's not. No.
So you're gonna want the Amp Pro GM61.
Yeah.
And you're gonna flick dip switch theory. Okay. No and yes. All right. So follow me on this one. So the Amp Pro GM61 takes care of a problem that certain General Motors cars have, in that the radio, FM radio, and the SAT radio will automatically just go to one channel on the most bus, which is what the audio is transmitted on. If your car does that, then you have to switch dip switch 3, and what it'll do is it pushes all the FM and SAT radio to, like if it's just on the left, it'll mirror the left over to the right. So technically, yes, you'll get left and right fade, and you'll get front and rear fade. Okay, it's just going to be the same signal on both sides.
Yes.
Now, when you're playing just like your phone over Bluetooth or plugged into USB, those will work the right way. So like 99% of the time you're listening to your phone, yeah, left, right, front, rear all work the same. If there's a sensor back here in this speaker, it'll come out of that speaker. If there's one out of that speaker. The only time that's different is if you're gonna go Tosh link out to, let's say, a processor. Those are only gonna be stereo, meaning they don't do front, rear, they just do left audio, right audio, and that's it. And there again, your FM and satellite, even over that, is going to mirror itself over. But that's only on select vehicles, meaning not all the vehicles are that way. It's one of those things where you have to try it first. And if you only hear audio out of the left channel, you flip the switch and it goes over to the right channel. It's just,
Right.
And we did the video on it. So if you want to know more about that, just do a search for Amp Pro or APGM61. We have 2 videos up, one with Bose and one without, and we'll walk you. We walk you through the whole thing.
All right. Somebody say, can you DSP the OEM system to improve the sound? That's a 2006 Jaguar XF with the Meridian speakers. I think it's already.
Well, it is already DSP'd, but yes, you can re-EQ it. So the Meridian system has an EQ and a DSP in it. It's already time aligned. It's already all that fun stuff. So what you're going to do is you're still going to put a DSP in it, but you're going to concentrate more on the equalization side of things. So If you sit in the front seat and you hear what sounds like a center channel or a center image, then it's already time aligned, and you're not going to do much with that because you don't want to screw that up. It can get really, really hairy from there. But you could still EQ it. So yes, you get a DSP, and the 4 essential things in a DSP are level control, crossover, equalization, and time delay. You're going to use level control, you're going to use equalization, you're going to use crossover. So you're going to use 3 of the 4 things that come in the DSP. Now some DSPs have the ability to do de-equalization, in which case they'll look at the signal, they'll flatten the signal, and then you can re-EQ it. Some of them, the de-equalization circuit is built on top of the equalization circuit, meaning it'll de-EQ and get it as flat as possible, and then you raise and lower the same bands that are doing the de-equalization. So it really depends on which one you go with. The other thing too is it's a Meridian system. What year was it?
It's 2016.
The other thing you might want to do is check navtv.com and see if they make a Zen model for that.
Right.
The Zen is the same as the Amp Pro. It's just made by NavTV. So there's 4 companies right now that make these. You have Amp making Amp Pro. You have iData making the AR, which includes like AR and the Rockford DSR1, and is now compatible with an ARC audio amp, as well as now compatible with Audison Prime and Nove DSP. And then you have Zen, and then you have Metra and the Access line making some of their pieces. So there's 4 companies right now making them, and you check all 4 because you want a preamp solution.
All right, Nick, thank you so much. He just dropped $5. We appreciate you, man. Thank you. Bobby said, are you guys hang on.
Yeah, I kind of am.
I know.
I'm not gonna lie. Just kind
of. Are you guys soldered the speed wire to the harness?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we do. I mean, if you can actually make like a T harness, that would be cool. Because the speed wire and everything, it's the best. All right.
I mean, use whatever connection type you're comfortable with. If you've never soldered before, soldering speed wire in a car is not the time to learn. If you can learn on the bench, is way better. A crappy solder job is not your friend. So like if you've never soldered before and you're more comfortable using like butt connectors or crimp caps, by all means use those. That's up to you.
Bobby said, looks like you guys are in the border.
It feels like it, man. I keep looking over my shoulder. Every time a car goes by, I'm like, oh, Jesus.
But it looks like the wall right there.
I was watching something funny. I was reading something funny yesterday. Eric from Rockford had put up a post.
What's that, Johnny?
About how he was, because now all these guys are doing these live webinars, okay? And it's funny because they've never done this stuff before. And they're like, this is so amazing, reaching all these people in all these different countries. And I'm like, I wanted to type on there, yeah, we call it Monday.
Yeah, we call it Monday. That's right. No, it was Saturday.
Well, either one. I'm just saying. It's we've been doing these for years.
Hey, exactly right there. South Africa is here.
Yeah.
You see? What's up, Mike?
I stopped getting my notifications.
Hey, Guillermo.
My notifications stopped. Oh, there we go. Thanks a lot. Drive-by and a McFlurry with love. Oh, that was Mom today. We talked about you earlier. Yeah, your ears must have been ringing. Greetings from Brooklyn, New York. State of mind, going to snow tomorrow. Dude, isn't that crazy? Have you seen all the northern states that are getting snow?
Yep.
That is ridiculous. Because it's 90 here.
Yes, it's super hot.
Oh my gosh. Although we did get a ton of rain yesterday, which was wonderful.
Oh my God. All right, so
next
March
question.
2369, he just dropped $20. Thank you, my friend. Thank you guys, truly appreciate and enjoy the content. Wish you were in Soul Cali to install my gear. Any recommendations for Long Beach? Who was in Long Beach?
What's his name? JT or JC? Addis guy. What's his name?
JT Torres?
Yeah, JT Torres. Those guys are over there in Long Beach.
I don't remember what's the name of
Just Instagram search JT Torres.
Right. Yep.
JT Torres. They have a shop over there. Isn't that Gary Bell too? Don't they all work together?
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Otherwise, I mean, you could make the hour-long drive out to Anthony's place. Sound, what is it? Sound Solutions?
No. Audio Systems.
Audio Systems.
Systems.
Sorry, Anthony. Sorry, Anthony.
Audio
I
Systems.
suck at names. I'll be the first to tell you.
Also, they have another Jamie.
Oh, Jaime.
Jaime.
It was an Arrogant Auto Sounds?
Agora Auto Sounds. Yeah. Agora.
But yeah,
check that on Instagram.
There's lots of guys there.
It's a lot of people in Cali, man.
It stopped showing me all my updates on here.
All right.
So
we got a lot of money right here.
Yeah, you go, because I can't see any of it, so you're going to have to do it.
Work. He just dropped $10. Thank you so much. Northeast PA sucks. CD and showing.
Northeastern PA sucks. CD and snowing, i.e. day, next 65 and sunny. Yep.
Wow.
Weather sucks.
Weather sucks, man. Thank you for the $10, buddy. John, stay safe out there. Getting from India.
Wow.
Thank you.
Speaking of India, like I said, that new movie. I wish I could remember the name of that movie. Go on to Instagram. Go on to Netflix real quick. And tell me the name of that movie.
Derek, thank you for the $3, man.
And
he just
dropped $2. The little dancing chicken on the side.
All right.
That's awesome. Anyway, so on Netflix, the new movie with Chris Hemsworth is filmed in India. They filmed it in Mumbai.
Mumbai, Google. What is the?
No, just go to Netflix app. If you you have Netflix on your phone, right?
I don't have Netflix on my phone.
How do you not have Netflix on your phone?
Because I don't use it.
This is the only guy in the world that doesn't have Netflix on his phone.
I don't use Netflix in my
phone.
Dude,
I wish I could figure out what was going on with this. It won't refresh.
I like to new movies. No, Netflix.
All right, never mind. Someone else will type it in. There's a new movie. Let me know what it is.
Okay.
All right, go back to it. It doesn't matter because
it's right there. Extraction.
There
you go. See,
check out Extraction on Netflix. It's good. It's a good popcorn movie tonight.
There you go. See, Sue just typed Extraction.
Yeah, and she didn't even watch it. It was awesome. It's my kind of gratuitous, violent movie that we're just like, yeah, I digged it.
Okay, go ahead. Carbon Crew 96. Thank you so much. He just dropped $4.99. If you're running a wire into the back cab camera, what is the best practice to get the wire into the cabinet and seal it?
So, like on the back of a car,
right here.
Hold on.
There you go. Yeah, that's the perfect.
All right, hold on.
Perfect.
So these boots right here are what you're going to want to run through. So like on this, we'd pop this out, we'd pop that out, we'd snake the wire through this boot, and that is going to be your best, most waterproof way to do it. If you have to cut this boot at all, it is going to leak. That's where your 3M strip caulk is going to come into place because, as you can see, these are constantly moving. So you need, like a silicone is eventually going to peel off of here.
Yeah.
But you know, soap, water, lube, whatever you want to use to get that wire through here, and you'll be back in business.
Now, when you take that rubber,
keep going. No, it's all right.
That rubber out,
yeah.
Make sure you use a plastic panel tool, because if you're using like a screwdriver or something, sometimes you poke it and it's not good. So use a longer zip tie. What do we call the zip ties?
They're air conditioning zip ties.
Air conditioning zip ties. It's
they're like 48 inches long or 36 inches long.
It's easy to and put some soap.
You poke a little point on it, so you cut it like this, so you have a triangle and just feeds right through. And they're nice and rigid, and they don't bend the wires. What do you got?
All right, it's any DSP that has built-in epicenter type of device.
Yeah, Q-Class.
Yeah, basically, yeah. The 1005
well,
kicker.
all the Q-Class sub-amplifiers have aftershock.
But with DSP.
Well, yeah, all the Q-Class amplifiers have DSP built into them. The other amplifier, now, there are amplifiers that have it built in. Obviously, you can get into any of the Kicker KX amplifiers, the red KX amplifiers, all have that feature built into it. So, you know, you can add a DSP if you already have an existing DSP, or you're gonna, you can have those amplifiers. But the only one off the top of my head that has that style feature built into it is the Q-Class.
All right, I'm gonna say it wrong probably because I always say Shant Tong. Okay, he just dropped $5, and he say, "Hello guys, I have a 2016 Civic and replacing my stock 6.5 with coaxials. Can I still install tweeters, or will that mess up the sound?" So
that's a wonderful question. Somebody's been really hitting up, and I finally responded back to me. There was a Ford we did where we put 5x7 coaxials in the bottom of the door, and we put tweeters up in the higher part of the door. That's how the customer wanted it. It was really big and loud, and it works fine. Okay, so many years ago, the practice was simple. If you wanted it loud, this was before everyone was so like, ooh, I want time alignment. I want it to sound like it's coming out of the center of my dash. I just want it to. Before all that time happened, you just sat in the car and was like, dude, louder. How do I make it louder? So this was cool because Rockford at the time really had the best solution for this with the Punch Series speakers. It came with 2 tweeters in the box. And what you do is, and 2 for each speaker, that's a total of 4. So you get a 6-inch mid bass or a 6x9, and it came with mounts, so you could put 1 tweeter in it or 2 tweeters in it. If you put 1 tweeter in it, then you could put 1 tweeter and make a 6.5-inch coaxial that would go on the bottom of the door, and then you could take the second tweeter and put it in the top of the door, so essentially you have 4 tweeters up front. We would, of course, this was like awesome because up until then, we were just doing it naturally. So we sold a lot of Alpine S-type speakers back then, and Alpine had an S-type tweeter. It was one of the reasons why we sold them. So we'd put a set of the SPS 16 whatevers in the bottom, which were the coaxial 6.5s, and then we put a tweeter up in the factory spot because for some reason selling components at the time, this wasn't where we're at now, the owner just didn't like doing that. He always like, we want to make it as loud as humanly possible. And I was like, well, of course, what makes it loud? Tweeters, great. So we'd put 4 tweeters up front, and yes, it would sound like just glass was cutting and everyone would get in, they go, yay! And it was like, okay. But no, it's a totally acceptable practice. Where it becomes kind of dodgy, as it were, is that, yes, if you're worried about doing like that time alignment thing and you want to throw all the vocal up on the dash, obviously having a second tweeter down low in the door is definitely going to do that. But if you're just looking for that normal left and right loud sound, knock yourselves out.
All right. Thank you,
as far as hooking it up, parallel. So you just positive, negative, you just go out. As long as the ohm load of the combined speakers is higher than the lowest part. So for example, if you combine them and it's at 2 ohms, the amplifier will play at 2 ohms, and you hook it up and you're good to go. Right. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
All right. Thank you, Bill. He dropped $5.
Bill's the man.
Bill is the man. Johnny say, I'm out grilling Al Pastor and Coronas in Modelo. You should join. Let's go to Indiana.
It's a long drive.
It's a long drive.
I think it'll be cold by then.
Ramon Nunez, thank you. Stay safe and keep it good work. He just dropped $2. Thank you, man. All right. Fernando and Dean, it seems like you guys were not very impressed with the Kicker Key 500.1. Thoughts before I buy one? Thank you.
Really? I didn't throw enough excitement on that? I gotta be honest with you. It's in the car now, and I was driving over here listening to it. And now that the sub is played for like, what, 2 weeks? I think it's been, week and a half, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. No, I'm 100% thrilled with that product. It is like, you gotta understand something. When I learned about this product last year, I was like, wait, what? And, you know, I was telling Paul, I was like, listen, these are certain products we need to start getting rid of because there's a product that's gonna come out. Because even I couldn't talk to the owner of the store about it because I could get in trouble. So I was like, we need to get rid of these products here. So because we have other products, we have these 2 products. So we had the key lock and the 501 key coming. I was like, these things are going to just destroy this market that we have, like selling these oddball things. So these need to all just start selling these out, and everything is going to get these. Dude, trust me, if you've got a factory radio of any kind and you want it to sound amazing, and you just don't want to screw with it because it's like, I just want to put it in and like do what we did in the video where you just play some sound and then you just go, huh, cool.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, you saw the before and after shots of the DSP where there was like no bass coming out and then there's bass coming out now, and it's like, yeah, it's freaking awesome. So
yeah, it is.
And you can ask all my friends in the industry, because every time we talk, and they're always going, hey, have you seen the Kicker? And they're like, dude, relax. We know. Okay, right. Yeah, great, Mr. Kicker pontificator over there. Just slow it down.
He grabbed the flag and it's waving
it like, go Key all the way. So anyways, yes, pick one up. You won't be disappointed. And you know, the funny thing is, not to talk too much about this, but everyone's like, oh, it's only 500 watts. Buy 2. Guess how much that is? 1,000. There you go. You have 2 woofers, buy 2 amps. You can program them both the same. It's all done through Signal. Rock on. All right, go ahead.
All right. I got a recommendation for a reasonably priced 3-way component setup for the front doors of my 2014 Jetta wagon with 10 speaker system.
2. I have 2.
All right.
Access.
Yes.
Access 3-way set right off the bat. If you could do it, access 3-way set. Yep. Or Sony GS series. Because the Sony GS series, you buy the 6.5 tweeter and then they sell the 2.5-inch mid-bass separate. Real reasonably priced there. And as long as we're talking about that type of process, you can also do it with JBL and Infinity. They make the 6.5 component set that you buy the add-on mid-range for, which gives you the crossover and all that. So one of those 4 systems should be within your budget, and if they're not, you need to raise your budget just a little bit.
Yeah, that's right. Johnny say, here's little Johnny.
little Waterhead Johnny. Just for those of you guys that don't get the Waterhead Johnny reference, you need to check out The Boring Life of Dean and Haley over on YouTube. And speaking of, and it's a podcast. It's a YouTube channel that Haley and I have together where we do father-daughter things. I know all you guys out there have kids. My kid just happens to be 20 and in college and almost gone, so I'm just trying to document the last bit of time I have with her before she does something like gets a real job, moves out of the house, gets married, has kids, and do all that fun stuff. So, which is a fear for a lot of people that have young kids. It's as someone who worked way too much and missed a lot of that time growing up, to be able to do this with her is a lot of fun. And because she's big into the social media crap and all that, I thought this would be a good way for her and I to bond. So we made that channel. And since we're talking about channels, we have another YouTube channel that if you guys aren't aware of, you should definitely go over and follow. We're almost to Fernando's $1,000 points where he wants to be. And what's the name of the channel?
Dean and Fernando Car Stereo Clips.
And what we do is we take all the questions you guys ask on these live shows, both the YouTube and the Facebook, and we cut them into the questions. So it's like you ask a question and answer the question, boom, done. Here you go, 5 minutes or less, and you're out. It's fun. It's a great way if you just got a couple minutes and you still want to learn or have fun or just see or do this. Check it out. Anyway, subscribe. Right. I just bundle drop. So it's like 15, 20 new ones just go up at a time.
That's right. Yeah.
It's wonderful stuff.
And it's a lot of information in there, so go and subscribe.
Yeah, it's like 104, 105 videos right now.
All right. J.R. Garcia, he just dropped $5. He said, I got a 2009 G37. I'm upgrading to the 250 amp alternator.
Oh wow!
It's running. He's running a JL HD 1200 for a 13W7, and the kicker 400 watts. Do I still need to do the big 3 upgrades? It's 1200 watts. It's the 13.7.
So let's talk about the big 3 upgrade process here, whether you have a bigger alternator or you're just running a basic system or anything like that. The idea behind the big 3 upgrade is to improve the ground plane in the car. So a lot of times when you pop the hood and you look at your battery and there's just one little rinky-dink like 6 gauge going over to a piece of metal in the car. Well, you're running a 4 gauge power wire back to the amplifiers. If the factory ground wire is a 6 gauge, you're going to have some problems there. You see what I'm saying? Now, a lot of cars, nowadays, the ground is a little better, meaning they're running a big 4 gauge off, and so the ground plane isn't too bad. The big 3 is really designed around improving the factory ground plane. So on some of the older vehicles, the ground plane sucked. So by adding that 4 gauge or 0 gauge ground off the battery to the frame of the car and to the block of the car, and from the block of the car to the frame of the car, it improves the overall functionality of the ground plane on the car. Everyone just assumes if it's metal, it's a good ground because there's a bolt into it. But if it's being fed by a crappy source, it's a crappy ground. Here, they're coming to get us.
I gotta go. Bye.
All right. So that's the idea behind the big 3 ground side upgrade. Now, of course, then the second part of that is to run the big 0 gauge over to the alternator. Of course, if you're getting a bigger alternator, increasing the size of the wire going to the alternator is definitely a good idea. I do recommend fusing it, of course, but that's just me. It's entirely up to you. But yeah, the thing you have to worry about when improving the ground on your car is look for where the voltage clamp is, okay? You don't want to go before the voltage clamp. You want to make sure you go after the voltage clamp so that you're not changing the functionality of the voltage clamp. So it's awfully tempting to go right to the battery, but then you'll notice on the battery there's this big black piece of material and the power wire is attached to that, and there's usually 2 wires going to it, or there's just a clip around the wire. You have to go after that because you want to make sure that all that is still funneling through there and you're not sidestepping it, because that is there and designed for the charging system on the car.
All right.
Okay, sorry.
That was a good explanation. Longest Flemish.
I know.
All right, Absolute Brown, he just dropped $5. Thank you. Have you done a video showing a complete three-way tune start to finish? No, we haven't done a video on the tune of the three-way.
I mean, we've talked about it.
We talk about it, yes.
The problem with tuning is that, like, it's hard if you don't have the right tools. I mean, so for the basic functionality of a three-way tune, first thing you're going to set up is a crossover. So you can do math to figure out your crossovers. And if you're unfamiliar with that, you can just research how to set up crossovers. What's that new tool we got from Steve Mead? The AMM1?
Yes.
AMM1. If you download, go to Steve Mead or whatever, and the SMD AMM1, download the owner's manual for that, because it gives you all the techniques as far as how to figure out your crossover points for your tweeter and mid-range and all that. Even if you don't have the tool, the numbers that it will find for you, most speaker manufacturers will publish. And it's easy for me to just tell you, but hey, do some work, okay? Math is fun. Anyways, so once you have those numbers, it's easy enough to figure out the crossover point, all right? And then time delay, you know, there again, that's not the hardest thing in the world. You sit in the car and you have someone measure from your ear to the speaker. Now, where it gets weird is that there's always going to be 2 or 3 inches of variation, because you need to go to the actual cone of the driver. And if the door panel's on, you kind of have to guess. So 2 or 3 inches of variation on that. Usually add like 2 inches. So if you go from here to the grill, if it's a mid-range, add maybe 2 inches. If it's a tweeter, maybe add an inch. If it's a mid-range, add maybe 1.5 inches. It just depends where it's sat when you put it on there. So, and that's okay. You can, play with that. Now, where the actual tuning comes in, well, you need some form of an RTA, because you have to see what is coming out of those speakers. And what you're going to do is you're going to do one speaker at a time, and you're going to start with the passenger side first, because they're the farthest away, and then you're going to level match the driver's side to the passenger side. So you might, there again, an RTA is very helpful.
Yep.
Or an SPL meter is very helpful, because you can measure like the output voltage or the output sound of this. So some guys will do that first. So they'll play this tweeter, and let's say it's at 105 dBs, and this one's at 107. They'll bring this one down to 105 before they even start the tuning process. So it really just depends on your method of doing things. Like, we watched a show the other day, and this guy had like this giant step-by-step, and this is what he's comfortable with. So, and then, other guys have their steps. So
everybody had different.
It's tough. Yeah. It's tough to just be like, this is the best way to do it.
All right. Okay. Rick, thank you, man. He said, you guys rock. He dropped, $10. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Steven, he dropped $20. Thank you, man.
Dancing chicken.
Yeah. BG Doggy, he dropped $5. Bail money. Thank you, man.
For those of you guys that didn't tune in right on the beginning, if you'll notice this as part 2, we started part 1 in the mall parking lot, and the mall cop came and threw us out.
Yep.
We were in the back of the mall. I wanted to get as far away from people as possible. And this guy doing his job was like, for your own protection.
Yeah, sorry guys, you guys cannot be here.
Yeah. Go away.
Let's
go
see.
ahead. Go away. Go ahead. Something, man.
The Sound Digital 404S, the Evo 4-channel amplifier with the speakers output, there is a plus, minus, but the minus plus it's in the one terminal. Is that correct?
Ooh, that's weird.
It's kind of weird. It is weird.
Is that for
I don't know, man.
So I know some amplifiers, depending like if you're gonna bridge, it'll plus do weird things. I mean, if worse comes to worse, you can call them. Every manufacturer has some form of tech support, and these guys are anxiously waiting by the phone. So as much as I'd love to guess, I'm not super familiar with the amplifier, but I think I know what you're talking about, because I think the last one of these we installed, I about lost my mind on that same thing too. I believe the answer is in the instruction manual, but if you're not comfortable with it, by all means, just call. Those guys are great.
And don't do the installation, don't guess. Just call them, because sometimes if you want to do something, you probably can damage any of the equipment you want to do.
Up.
Exactly. So
I mean, don't get me wrong. As you guys know, I still when we're going and filming a video and I'm showing you talking about the instruction manual, like, when we unbox this, I'll be pulling this instruction manual out. I'll be telling you all the things that it has. I do that for every piece of equipment we get, because, sometimes these manufacturers do dumb stuff, like, or what we consider like why did they call it that? And for a prime example of this, like the RCA inputs on this, I just call them inputs. I mean, that's what they are. From the radio into this is inputs. But a lot of manufacturers that do DSPs, they don't call them low-level inputs. They call them auxiliary inputs.
And that kind of
throws you off a little bit because they look at it like when you're, and the reason why they call them that is because when you're setting up the processor, they have like Toslink input, they have digital input, they have auxiliary input, and they have high-level input. And you can do different settings for each one of them. So it's like, ooh,
different manufacturers do different things. So just call, make sure you're doing the right thing, and that's it.
Next.
Bradley, thank you, man. $4.99. He said, Dean and Fernando, what is the best way to secure a fiberglass subwoofer enclosure to the vehicle? Looking to do the spare tire enclosure in the 93 RX-7.
Well, if you have a spare tire, there's already a bolt in the floor.
Yes.
What I would recommend doing is putting some kind of either like a wood stopper, you know, when you're building your fiberglass cut out a piece of wood ring that goes over where the factory one is and put your whole fiberglass mold into that so that you have some reinforcement there. You can even fiberglass in a washer so that you have something to go through and then just bolt it into the factory bolt. I mean, that's the easiest way to do it. If you're going to do something on the side, same basic principle. Figure out where you want your, we'd use a rivet, you know, a threaded nut cert, and you could, there again, put a piece of wood there, put the bolt through, then put the woofer in. So
what's up, Victor?
Bolt it in place first. What's Victor saying?
No, because Victor heard the siren. It's like Bad Boys.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I still gotta watch.
I watch it.
I know, you told me. I want to watch it.
I like it. All right. See, how much you guys teach intuition more than donations?
How much what?
I don't know. Depends on who makes the 25. Okay, never mind.
I was gonna say, you always pick the really hard to read
I'm
questions.
Trying to. It's just
I can't read anymore because it died here, so. It's,
all right. Trying to do Google voltage clamp for more info. Not getting any car related results. Is there any other name for voltage clamp?
DC voltage clamp?
Okay.
I mean, we're just trying to, so, I mean, you're just trying to check the DC, your amperage draw. So if that's what you're trying to do, like Fluke makes AC/DC voltage clamps. I think that's one of the things I did not put in the DNF tool drawer is the voltage clamp that we have. When we get back in, I will put a link to the voltage clamp we use if that's what you're talking about. I don't know why I never put that in there, but I'll see if I can find it tonight, and if I do, I'll put it up on DNF tool drawer. As I was saying before we got cut off by the man, I just last night after I got done watching Extraction, I sat there because someone had mentioned that a lot of the links in the DNF tool drawer weren't up and functioning properly anymore. So I went through and cleaned up the whole page, and everything now is linkable to something. If it wasn't linkable or if it wasn't relevant, because there's a couple older things on there that we don't really deal with anymore, so I've deleted those and I put new stuff up that we do deal with. And then on the accessories side, or the 12 volt, I think it's like 12 volt accessories, I put up all the things like LGDs, TR7s, everything that PAC makes, all the little trinkets that PAC makes that we always talk about for like adding backup cameras and expanding this and like a TR12 programmable. So I put links to all that stuff up there. So a lot of the times, and then I went through the whole meters section and put in all the meters, updated all those for the ones that we're currently using. Took out any of the old ones, like Lumi is pretty much gone, but there's it's just a new company, it's the same piece.
Yeah.
So I, got rid of that, put the new one up. Put up a link to the oscilloscopes that we have. And of course, all the Steve Meach stuff is up there.
Cool.
You got to send me that so we can become a dealer. Anyways, go ahead.
All right. 25 hertz to lies. A question for you guys. Any difference between a positive terminal post with a built-in mini amp fuse and a regular line-in fuse connected to the power wire?
So, I mean, the only, okay, so a lot of factory batteries now come with this power distribution hub that sits on top of the battery, and like it has all these fuses. So like you'll see like the main one, let's say, is a 250. There'll be a 350. Then there'll be like 180, a 30, and stuff like that. They're all open and not being used. And like you could technically use those, okay? Like you could just, like, if there's an 80 amp fuse coming off there and you need an 80 amp fuse and there's nothing attached to it, yeah, you could use that. The only reason why we don't use that is because on our side, being that we're professional and we're liable for everything we do, we're gonna put our own fuse in it, because if that one fuse blows, then we can easily just pull that fuse out, put a new fuse in. If the manufacturer's big fuse distribution fuse blows, that's like 70, 80 bucks, which I don't want to be responsible for. So there is technically no difference between them. It's just a matter of, is it yours or is it mine? If it's yours, go for it. If it's my customer, then no.
All right.
If that answers the question. I don't know. I was just guessing there.
Alexander, he just yelling right now. Do you know any good shops in Fort Lauderdale?
Fort Lauderdale?
Yeah.
I mean, well, Allen's at Biscayne Bay, or Biscayne Car Stereo, is really the only thing that pops into my head.
Okay.
Where's Adam Devine's? I think he's in Miami, though.
It's in Miami.
I don't even know the name of his.
It's
Divine
Sounds.
So there's two guys. One's in Miami, one's in Biscayne, which is just outside of Miami. It's pretty close to Fort Lauderdale. Right?
Yeah.
It's Fort Myers, Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Fort Myers and Fort Lauderdale. Why do they do that? One is on this coast, the other's on the other coast. But anyways,
Fort.
there's two down there to check out. They're going to be within 15 to 45 minutes of your house. So check them out. Divine Auto Sound, and then Biscayne Auto Stereo or something like that.
I mean, the best way is go to Instagram and just try to just search it. That's what I do.
I know those two people, though. So personally, I know them.
All right.
So.
My H800 is not working. So when will you have the new Alpine DSP? That's Brian.
I want to say August, September, Brian. Everything's been put back, man. You know, speaking of like guys I know in the industry, obviously we know a lot of people in the industry, and we try to introduce you guys to as many of them as we possibly can. That's like the joy of going to Knowledge Fest, is introduce you to a lot of these people. And if you're in their area, you know, you get the benefit of like, oh, they know, like Ada's a lot of guys know Ada now. So James, up in Pennsylvania, he was doing something, and one of our fans called him out on something.
Oh.
And he was telling them, hey, look, you know, like, I know Dean, and I know Fernando, and like, I know Dean really well, because we were an admin together on one of the industry pages, and this guy's like, I call bullshit. And I'm like, dude, I mean, really?
All right, this is a cool one right there. Victor, where's Victor from?
Victor's from Miami.
Almost like
he's in South Miami, and
exactly.
he drives up to see us.
He said, people, if you are in Florida, just drive to 5-star. It's worth it. So
no, Victor drives up from Miami,
and it's not the first time he drives.
Oh no, Victor comes up. Like, Jesus, I think he's here every 6 months.
And it's not because anything.
And he's not the only one.
He want to upgrade something. He want to do something different.
Yeah. No, I mean we get. I mean the guy before we closed down. What car was that we just filmed? We did the front stage upgrade. Oh, the Accord. He came over from
Georgia.
Yeah, he drove down from Georgia, stayed the night, and like I had one guy had made a comment. He was like, you know, I'm from South, I'm gonna come up, but it's got to be a weekend, and I want to get all this stuff installed, and I only have one day, and I'm like, it's not how it works. I mean, you know, our stuff takes what it takes. You know, it's like everyone has a timeline. I understand that, but when you like, I need all this stuff done, I need it done in a day. That's not how I roll, dog. You know, wiring up one of these amp racks that takes, you know, everyone's like, you see those amp racks. That could be anywhere from 3 to 6 hours worth of work. Like that one that we just saw in the Ram, that was like all day.
Yeah.
That legit took all day to wire up that amp rack, to build it, wire it. And it was 3 amplifiers and a DSP.
And for example, we have a customer coming from Orlando, Miami, those kind of areas. And he saw the install that we do and everything. He had a previous...
Yeah, had a mistake.
Exactly. So that was a 911 video that we shot. When we tell the price and everything, he's like, "Oh wow, man, that's just like, but that's
steep.
This is what we do, you know. This is what you pay for it, and this is what we're gonna do to replace and
keep in mind,
everything clean.
We still don't know the price 9 times out of 10. I just tell Paul what it's gonna take to do it, and then he comes up with a magic number, and that's what the guy's got to pay if he wants us to do it.
Right.
But time frame wise, shit takes what it takes. I can't change time.
Right.
You know, there's one thing in life that you can't buy more of, and now, you can't make more of, and you can't stretch.
Now keep in mind,
that's time.
The more it passes is the more time it takes. For example, like custom panels for the tweeters, custom panels for the speakers.
Yeah.
Anything. It's just time.
Takes time.
Yeah.
You know, for those of you guys that are fans with Mark, Car Audio Fabricator, if you caught his new Haley and I watched it at lunch today, and he's talking about zip ties and wire ties. He kept switching between calling them zip ties and wire ties, and of course it was driving both Haley and I nuts. He's like, just pick one thing and call them that, you know. And but what he was mentioning, and the one thing that I kind of took away from the videos, you know how I like to do power wire, where I'll do the bundle and I'll put zip ties between them all, and like I sit there and I zip tie it all up, and it takes me like an hour just to do like 4 feet of zip tying. And he's like, now if you guys expect a shop to do this, you know, this takes a lot of time and expect to pay extra for it, and it's just not like every shop is going to do that. He's 100% correct, because you know, like I had it in that one of the F-150 we did the other day that we filmed for whatever reason. I had to do like a 4-foot stretch. Just the back wall needed to be zip tied up in a flat bundle, and dude, it took like 45 minutes to do that. Yeah. And it's like, what are you going to do? Okay, if you want it that way, it takes 45 minutes. Well, that's got to come from somewhere, all right? So these things take time.
From your pocket. Oh, air, right. Boy Lamb, thank you, man. Happy Saturday. He just dropped $10, and the job is coming from me. So, all right, don't worry about it. Ellen, thank you, man. Sup, guys? Thank you for what you do. No, thank you for watching, and thank you for dropping $10, man.
I mean, if it wasn't for you guys, this obviously wouldn't even exist, because why would we do it?
And like we say right now, everything that you guys do, supporting the show, dropping some money, seriously, we appreciate
honestly,
it.
Just watching.
Yes.
I don't. The money's just a happy ending. But I mean, watching the show and
oh, I like happy endings. All right, Chris Lee, $14.99. Thank you, my friend. I done a big 3 in my truck already, plus a fuse, power, film.
Yeah.
Film alternator 2 plus with all zero gauge. Good idea also to run 0 gauge from ground back to truck to the battery. I have white noise when it's playing.
Yeah, okay, so yes, you always want to increase your ground plane, as we said. Increase your ground plane. So if you have 0 power, 0 ground. Always match the two. So whatever size power you have, your ground needs to be identical to it. It's like one of those things that gets the most overlooked is ground. I've seen cars that we've come out to, and it's like the guy will have a 4-gauge ground and he'll have a 4-gauge power wire, and he'll have a 12-gauge ground, because all he knows is that, and it's short because he was told that it has to be under 12 inches. It's like, no, it needs to be, they need to match. So if you've got 4-gauge worth of ground, 4-gauge worth of power, 4-gauge worth of ground, you got 0 gauge coming off that power ground, match them up. I was gonna go somewhere else with that, but I don't remember.
All right, so now that you say that, I just want to remind you guys, Nakamichi, he sent us this to actually review it.
It's their DSP, 12-channel DSP they have. It's the NDS 6120, 6 channels in, 12 channels out, DSP. It's a sponsored video, not this particular video. We just opened the box. It came in this week. We'll be doing a sponsored video for Nakamichi.
This is the Bluetooth module and the control right here.
And it's an unboxing.
And it's an unboxing.
We'll be doing a full unboxing on it, telling you guys all about it, showing you the software. And of course, they give us the hardest thing to review first.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Thanks.
We want the amplifier. The tube amplifier. Yeah. All right.
Just give me that. I'll review it for free. Jesus.
I know. All right, so hang on. I got this one.
Send me 2 so I can give one away.
What? I keep one. You keep one. Why would you want to keep one?
Dude, you got the GS9. Give me a break.
I have a GS9.
Oh yeah, that's right, guys. For all you that are curious, the GS9 is and the G35 now.
Right there.
So if you guys don't know what a GS9 is, you're gonna find out. And for those of you that know what a GS9 is, it's as cool as you think it is.
Dude, it's
it sounds amazing. We do have a full video on it, so we do a full unboxing. We show you all the cool features it has, why you want an iPad to use with it, all that fun stuff. Hopefully next week, if the latest the week after, but yeah, it's coming. Yeah, and then we also went full active on the front of Fernando's car finally. So we took out the 2-channel front stage that we were running with the ACM 2.300. Rewired it all. I just watched. And put in the 4.300. So now it's a full active Phoenix Gold front, powered off of a 4-channel ACM 4.300.
Mm-hmm. You definitely notice how it sounds.
Now the nice thing is this actually the Bluetooth in this is already LDAC.
Yes.
So we were able to take out the Moscone LDAC Bluetooth that went in there. Yeah, I bought 2. Yay. No, I'm not going to give one away. I'll tell you right now, I'm not giving one away because they were $300.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Fuzzy Vision say, I like happy endings too. And he dropped $5. Thank you. Jason, he dropped... Jason, he dropped $5 too, and he say, have a great evenings, my friend. I'm going to Disneyland. Just to say happy because he's close.
Dude, there's a lot of guys doing like bike rides around Disneyland right now on YouTube, and I'm like, you guys suck.
All right, El Fernandez, he dropped $20. When you guys going to have time to do a review on the Helix Mini?
Actually, that's going to be coming up next. Yes. One of the things we had to get done was get the full active front stage in his car.
Yes.
Now that we have that done, that opens it up so we can finally do that. Right now, he's got the DM810 in there because it was just so much work to get done in one little stealth period. It actually ended up taking us way longer than we thought it was going to take.
Definitely.
So we spent like 2 days getting it into his car. So we didn't have time, but yes, now that that's done, once things start to get back to normal and we can get back into the install bay and start doing things, we're going to pull that out and I'm going to throw in the Mini and let him start playing with it and do all the thingies.
We have a lot of projects to do.
But no, that is at the top of the list. Well, actually, this got bumped to the top of the list.
That's going to bump. Money definitely.
But no, actually, really we'll probably throw the Mini in first. Because I need to do more research on this whole thing and figure it out. And you can just throw the Mini in and play with it.
Yeah.
So. But anyways, right now. But yes, it is top of the list.
Definitely.
All right, go ahead.
All right. So Zilays too.
Yeah.
Zilays.
See you.
Yeah. Zilays. All right.
See you.
Yeah. $5. Thank you, my friend. He has a 2020 Wrangler with a premium Alpine 8.4. With Exelon PX R600
DSP
and Rockford Fosgate R2 750.5
with a question mark. No, it's the R2 750 times 5.
Okay, so the DSP or the Rockford.
Okay, so if you if you have the 8.4 inch with the Alpine screen, that's going to give you right off the bat 2 variables. As far as integration goes, one of those is going to be AR, which is iData, and the other one is going to be Amp Pro. Now, if you go AR, you can go into the Kenwood DSP 606, which is one of the amplifiers that he's talking about. Now, the cool thing about the 606 is it is a 6-channel DSP with 4 channels of output. All right. So what that means is that in that particular car, you can go active front stage and rear, or you can do front, rear, and sub. But you have 4 channels of output, which for me personally means that I want to do front tweeter, front mid, 1 through 4, rear on 5 and 6, and then pick up a Kenwood Exelon 1000 or the 500 and run that off to my subwoofer, all right? Which will also still pass through the DSP, and you'll have lots of fun there. Now, if you decide to go Rockford R750 times 5, well, you have no DSP for one, so if you want to add in a DSP, you need to add in like a DSR1, or you need to get an Amp Pro, and you need to go to an external DSP. So honestly, in this case, I'm a big fan, and we've done them. I'm a big fan of doing that Kenwood amplifier, going full active front, rear, and add an amp for the sub. You're going to be way happier with that. Now, the nice thing is if you say, well, I really don't have the money to do like the sub amp right now, that's perfectly fine. You could still, because it's all already wired, meaning you're going to get you have all the wiring there, so it's all done. So if you just go front, rear, and sub right now, in a month or 2 or 3, when you get funds replenished and we all get back to making tons of cash, add in the sub amp, rewire the fronts, retune it, and you're golden. So for me personally, in that situation, that's screaming for that amplifier.
All right.
Okay,
so,
go ahead.
Okay, so Susan said, all right, so Tino has a question. Has an MBX micro amplifier to his speakers, and it's going super hot. Any ideas?
You know,
it has already a fan.
Yeah. So one of the funny things, so this was, all right, we were watching, you missed it, but Eric did the kicker thing. I'm sorry, the Rockford thing.
Uh-huh.
Eric from Rockford did the whole R2 show on one of the webinars this week. And one of the engineers there, because they were talking about the T2 micro amplifiers, and he says if the amp ain't getting hot, the amp ain't working. All right. With that being said, heat sinks are called heat sinks because they get hot. But there's a couple things that cause amplifiers to shut off, or cause them to get hot, I should say. One, and the biggest one, is the wrong ohm load, meaning too much resistance. So, for example, if the amplifier is capable of running 4 ohm mono, 2 ohm mono, 1 ohm mono, and you're running it at 1 ohm mono, you better make sure you have everything on the other side of that amplifier that it needs. I mean, you better have a big ass power wire, you better have an amazing ground. You're asking it to operate at its optimum output level.
Yes.
That means that everything on the other side of it, you better be feeding it everything that it needs to go optimum. All right, so if you don't have best power, best grounds, any of that crap, well, guess what? Amplifier's gonna get hot because it's not getting what it needs.
Right.
Other thing too, poor circulation. You said you have a fan on it. My guess is it's not that. Now, depending on how the amplifiers mount, also depends on circulation. So for example, if you mount an amplifier flat like this, wires out the side, then it can use the whole surface area of the heatsink. However, if it's mounted like this, and it's an extruded aluminum heatsink, meaning the wires on the ends, well, guess what? Now you're only going to be using the top half because heat rises of that amplifier. That's bad, especially on those small amplifiers. You want to make sure you can try to mount those things flat. Right? Now, there again, yours might be mounted flat. I'm just giving you ideas.
Yeah. Now, also, another thing is like, how do you wire your speakers? Depends if you actually like overheating your amplifier.
Well, that'd be like wire size.
Right.
So if you're running too small of a gauge wire, so even though, let's say you have a 5-foot subwoofer wire and you're running 12 gauge, you may need to up it to 10 gauge because of that length and the resistance. Or you could have a crappy speaker cup on there. All that adds in the resistance of the amplifier. These small amplifiers, though, are amazing on how much they can do in such a small thing. The other thing you have to keep it too is those small amplifiers, they just get hot. And the reason why is they just don't have the surface area to dissipate that heat as fast as, let's say, a bigger amplifier. So like nowadays, like this is basically the size of a Prima 800 watt amplifier, okay?
Yeah.
This little guy right here. This isn't, obviously, because this is a Nakamichi, but they're about the same size. Well, the surface area and the amount of output, it's just gonna get hot, okay? So it's okay. If the amplifier is not shutting off, I really wouldn't worry about it too much. If it is shutting off, then you need to check your voltage, see what it's doing when the bass hits. So basically just run the voltmeter on it while it's in use.
Yep.
Got any more?
I got the last one.
Okay,
Jeff Farley said,
hey,
will
Jeff.
the big three, hey, what's up, buddy? Would the big three on modern Nissans be a bad idea? Factory fuses on positive and negative terminals. Have me questioning.
Yeah.
Yes.
So actually, I just had this conversation with Jeff Smith the other day because we were talking about big threes, and I was like, it's sketchy doing big three on newer vehicles. Cars. You really have to pay attention to where, like you said, like fuse holders are, where the amp clamp is, and the amperage clamp is. These are all things you really have to pay attention to. If you do it wrong, bad things could happen.
Yeah.
So we try to, we just go, yeah, that looks good, and we kind of step away from it and just. Most new vehicles, we don't have any problems with. And the other thing too is like we're talking about with amp size. These micro amplifiers like this, they do an exceptional amount of power and they're very efficient. So you don't have to get, I mean, granted, if you're running a 4500 surfboard, yeah, you might want to chance it. But yeah, you do have to be very careful with the big three upgrades nowadays. Just be super cautious. If it looks like something that you're like, then just err on the side of caution and be like, no, I'm not going to screw with that. Yeah. And that way your car won't blow up the alternator or the voltage regulator or the body control mods or any of the other stuff like that.
That's right.
All right, guys, that brings this Saturday to a close.
Thank
Went a little
you.
extra because you got 2 videos. Yay! Yeah, the first 15 minutes before we got the man on our shoulders.
Yeah.
But with that, we're going to end it. We're going to do a Monday show somewhere. We'll figure it out.
somewhere.
Maybe we'll be back here again. I don't know. We'll see how things go.
Thank you for all the support, guys. We
Maybe
appreciate
we'll just
it.
Sneak back into the install bay. And just, All
right. All right.
You guys have a wonderful weekend.
Before we go, don't forget, Dean and Fernando, Car Stereo Clips. Go and subscribe.
YouTube.
Yep.
12 Volt Clean Wire Club, Facebook. Become a member. You get to post all your pictures of your cool car stereo wiring. Clean wiring. And no flush panels. So there's been a couple posts where people put up pictures, like a whole build log, and it's like flush panel, wire. Guess what? You're gonna get deleted.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to have to look through 6 flush panels before I get to your wiring. So if you do want to put up your full build log, just delete all the build part and just put up the wire part. Because that's all we want to see. We don't want to see any of that other stuff. That's for all those other places on Facebook.
One more thing, guys. One wire with zip ties, one wire doesn't count. Okay.
Why not?
It's just one wire. It's just one wire. Come on.
I shrink wrapped my backup camera.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So, in there again, don't take it personally. We're trying to make sure that this page stays super clean. And it's also a nice place. And there again, I like it. There's been a couple posts where people have asked, hey, I live in this area. Is there anybody on here that can do this type of wiring for me? That was the original idea for this, is that these guys can post pictures, whether you're a professional, whether you're a hobbyist, whether you're interested in becoming a professional, and there'd be a conversation there. So feel free to ask as many questions as you want. If you see something that you just don't understand, ask that guy how he did it. Hopefully he's cool enough to answer it for you. DNF Tool Drawer is a place you can find all the cool tools we use, and of course it's updated now, so the links all go everywhere, and there's some new tools up there that I forgot to put up, and so it's all cleaned up, it's all fresh, it's all new. It still looks the same. I didn't go crazy and rebrand it or anything, but so everything's there, everything's functional. Teespring/store says 5-star. You get cool 5-star shirts. There's a bunch of them up there. The 4th of July is coming out. You may want to pick up that patriotic 5-star with the American flag in the background, which neither of us are wearing today.
That's right.
It's pretty popular shirt. Or get the I Know Jeff Smith shirt. Love that one. It says on the back. You got my CDs, Jeff?
I got my CDs, Jeff.
So cool shirts up there, and of course we're on Patreon. There's been a lot of new Patreon guys out there. Thank you so much for supporting us on Patreon.
Yep.
We know originally we were going to do a podcast thing. We did really well for about the first year, and then I totally fell apart.
That's right.
At some point, hopefully we'll get back to that, but I doubt it because we're really railroading forward with just other directions and trying to make more content that's just fun.
All right, guys. Thank you again for watching and supporting all this.
It's been crazy. You guys are the best. You guys are the best fans ever. Yes, you'll see us somewhere 6:30 Monday on Facebook, where it's at, Eastern Standard Time. That's the bad thing about all these Zooms and all these teleconferences is it's like, where are you guys at? The Pacific or the Central or East?
Let's
just keep everything Eastern Standard Time and keep it simple. I understand if you live in California, but you guys are way smarter over there and you can do the math. Doing the 3-hour thing for these, we're dumb. We don't get it.
All right, guys.
Ready to go home?
Bye.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful night. We'll talk to you later.